All right, let's get into it. Of course, we're going to start with Bitcoin dominant sentiment because that is one of the main things we talked about last stream. We're going to talk about how it played out since the weekly close because the stream was about 4 days ago. No, it was about 6 days ago, and the weekly candle was closing 4 days after that stream. So the weekly candle has closed. We're going to talk about that. Then we'll go over two of our losing trades, EOS and XMR, and what we're going to do with them now because there's still favorability in one of these, and I'll tell you guys about which one that is. We'll go over all of the great winning trades that had amazing setups and that we've been waiting for quite some time, especially Chainlink. We've been waiting on Chainlink for I don't know how long we've been in the trade. We'll figure that out in a second. We'll talk about dominance at the end, and then we'll talk about what's the plan now. And if there's time, get to alts because last stream, one of you guys told me to look at Litecoin, and we'll go over this trade, and Litecoin ended up being a fantastic trade because one of you suggested it. So let's go over suggestions again and hopefully find another one. Anyways, Bitcoin dominance. Last stream, where were we at? As you can see, we had made new highs on Bitcoin dominance. This was pretty much the highest price over the last 2.5 years. That's significant. That's why we streamed that day, is because that event happened. And now there's information to give you guys. One of the main reasons for this was if dominance is breaking new highs, there can potentially be a flip in sentiment here. One thing I told you guys was that if this is the breakout, all of the altcoins that we did buy would obviously have drawdown. In fact, there was a divergence between the price of Bitcoin dominance and alts. Dominance was making new highs. Dominance literally was above the June 2022 and it was above the July 2021 prices, right? That's divergence. Bitcoin dominance making new highs. Alts were not making new lows. So alts were not making new lows, but dominance was making new highs. Divergence there. That's why we made the stream. One thing I told you guys was let's wait 4 days. This is going to get fucking annoying. How can I turn this off? There we go. One thing I did tell you guys was in 4 days, when the weekly candle closes, we want to see a wick, right? We don't want to see this thick green candle on the weekly. We want to see a wick like we've seen for the last 2.5 years. What did we get? We got the wick, right? This is why I said we're going to hold. This is why I specifically said we are holding the alt positions. We're holding the alt positions because we don't really have any information to go off that this setup isn't going to work again for the third year in a row. If this has been working for the last 3 years, why are we going to fade it again? Why are we going to exit our alt positions because we think that there's going to be a change in sentiment? Yes, this could produce a change in sentiment, but we've been doing the same thing for the last 3 years and it's worked every single time. And it's worked again today. At least it's worked again for the last 4 weeks. Hits the 49% range, wicks down, and alts go berserk. So that's how it played out. I mean, picture perfect. Exactly what we wanted to happen has happened. We got the weekly wick. Now, going forward, we're going to want to see this hold here. As you can see, every previous time there has been a weekly wick. Every time before. Every time there is not an event this has not happened. Weekly wick, mass drawdown. Weekly wick, mass drawdown. The same. Weekly wick, mass drawdown. Weekly wick, mass drawdown. Again, every single time it happens. That's what we're going to look for again, right? We can have some consolidation, maybe 1 week, right? Maybe 2-3 weeks of consolidation. But for the majority, 2-3 weeks after at least 1 month minimum, we need to start seeing the drawdown, or we have to go into some type of other mode where we need to think that, all right, we did get the weekly look. This could be the fake out, and it could be the rate of these highs maybe comes down. And I won't even say that we're, fair value gaps or order blocks even work here, but I will say maybe we come down, we'll raid these lows, and then we could start a sentiment change. But for now, we're still going off the exact same information we've used before. We've already taken profits on alts, and we'll go over that just in a second. The same information is we're looking for Bitcoin dominance to fall further. That means we're looking for alts to move up in price further. Moving on. Go over EOS and XMR drawdown trades now. EOS, first one up. We actually never really got much profit on this one. For the entirety of the trade, really it's stagnant. I think we bought it here. Bought the trade here. We got a little bit of draw up, not much. A 4 or 5% max, nothing compared to the previous trades. And then obviously trades back down, and then we stop out the trade. So EOS is still not a bad trade. Not my favorite one. I'll go over my favorite one in a second, which will be the other one that we got stopped out of. EOS, not a bad trade. One thing that I should have been looking for in this definitely was to take out this buy side liquidity. For some reason, this has been happening consistently. You build up all this liquidity and it just has to break, right? It's like boiling over and it needs to break for it to continue upwards. It needs to raid lows, and that's what it did. So it took out this buy side. Also took out the equal lows here, as you can see. I mean, fantastic equal lows. And that's one thing I do want to emphasize is the idea of these equal lows being used as these targets for liquidity has been such an easy trade. And we'll go over this in XMR because XMR was even easier, like textbook. But you find the equal lows, wait for the raid, and then literally you buy the raid. Again, I mean, EOS after buying the raid is already up, you know, almost 2% here. So that's the EOS trade. Not much to say about it. It was a slow trade, not much profit. It sat at break even pretty much the entire time. But XMR is the one I do want to talk about because XMR pretty much followed suit with exactly what I wanted, except for one piece, which was actually not hitting our fair value gap. But as you can see, equal lows, low, low, two lows, equals, equal low. Raid it, right? Again, raid this equal low. You're not able to break the highs. So there's something happening here already. These highs obviously have too much sell pressure. So what do we need? Well, we need more people to buy. One way to make them buy more is to produce more liquidity. How are we going to produce more liquidity? Well, let's search somewhere on the chart to find more liquidity, right? Usually where that's going to be at the equal lows. Tons of buy stops here. Raid, instant buy. It does help a little bit that the raid was into the 4-hour EMA. So raid in 4-hour EMA and then immediate markup. So I like this one a lot still. And this is why I said that out of the two, there's one that I still like. One reason being we do have quite a good risk to reward here, right? Even if it's 1-to-1 risk to reward, the reward is pretty close by, and a 4 to 5% move on XMR is not going to be that difficult for us to make. Also, breakout retest, you can obviously tell how much sell pressure we have in this range here. Right here at 164, we'll call it 165 flat. I mean, how many times over the last 7-8 months has this been the level for whales to sell? Consistently in February, consistently in March, and then consistently this month. And the reason I like this now is because we've tested so many times that the sell wall is eventually going to break through. Why? Because that's the only thing that can happen next. The sell wall cannot keep building up, right? Unless they're buying at current price and market making for a stablecoin. It's not a stablecoin, right? The sell wall's going to break soon, and we have a lot of confluence to know why this will break. Daily EMA retest, 4-hour EMA retest, just recently rated local lows. We didn't get a fair value gap touch out of this, which is fine. We don't need it. But this will be one that I'm most likely going to end up buying again after this stream. And I'll post that one in the Discord if I end up buying it. So this is the one I like over EOS. I probably will not revisit EOS, but I will revisit XMR. All right, next up. Go over the winning trades. Talking about the winning trades is great, but we can't learn much because it did what we wanted. So we learned from our losers more than our winners, but we'll go over these fast. Chainlink. How long did we sit in the Chainlink trade? I know this was pissing people off for a while. We bought Chainlink on, I'm gonna check the date because I'm kind of curious how long we had to wait. April 3rd. It's April 18th. We waited 15 days. Where's April 3rd? Bought it right here. This is where we bought Chainlink. Somewhere around here. So we bought Chainlink here and had to wait, you know. Had to wait 10 days for the markup. Now, that's one thing I do want to talk about is the idea of waiting and the idea of patience. A lot of trades that we have had from myself and some of the other traders, I think especially some of Glacier Boy's trades like Theta, and he also had Zcash, which were extended trades that we did have to hold for a longer period of time. Albeit they didn't really have much drawdown like Link. Link had pretty much zero drawdown from our entry. However, it did have that, you know, that mental exhaustion of us definitely having to wait quite some time for this. I mean, you had to wait half a month for us to get this profit, but it ended up being very profitable of a trade. As you can see, we still have more to go here. We've broken through all the levels we wanted. I don't know if I need to talk about why we took entry here. We've talked about several times, but this is kind of the similar idea with XMR, right? XMR has, let me just pull these up side by side. XMR has that level I was talking about, this 165, right? As you can see, it's just getting sold through. It's going to eventually break. The exact same thing was with Chainlink, and this is one of the reasons why we bought it. Daily EMA, it's eventually going to break. It's been testing it forever. It's been since February, right? We've been doing this for a very long time now. And one of the ideas is the sell wall can't be sell wall forever, right? The sellers can't stay there forever because the sellers would have to buy back and then sell at the same price and buy back, sell at the same price. I mean, they would be market making and keeping it at the same price forever. So it doesn't happen. We're not trading stable coins here. The idea was to break through the daily EMA, which evidently we have, right? It was to break through the daily EMA as well as some of the quite obvious highs we had here. So simple trade, really not much. There wasn't much to this trade, but a very profitable trade, highly profitable, but you had to wait a little bit. So break these highs and then continue. And we're still moving up now, and it's very healthy of a trend. So hold the trade. We still have a long time to go, actually, until our major liquidity target, which is all the way up at $9.50. Okay, that's Chainlink. Moving on. Dusk. Dusk will not be as interesting because Dusk was profitable the entire time. Here's Dusk. What can I say about it? We had 50% margin to start the trade. Right? Why? We bought here. We bought like right here. We had 50% of the margin. Why did we buy with a portion size of what we intended? One reason being, and I talked about this consistently just a bit ago, was the idea that we had equal lows here, and then we had a beautiful fair value gap right below it. And this is where optimal trade entries are. And Casper talks about this quite a bit. If we can get a potential raid into fair value gap, then we have enough liquidity to then target the next liquidity pocket, which is, where these quad highs are, right? Where we've seen quite a bit of sell exhaustion or buyer exhaustion up here in the March highs. And that would have been perfect, but we didn't get the rate of the lows, which is fine. That's why we entered preemptively with 50% of the margin to then play out this trade in case of the matter that we didn't get the rate. And that's fine. The trade's been extremely profitable since then. I think we're at 17% to 18% move, no matter what it is. Great trade nonetheless. It's, again, hard to learn from the winners because it does what we want. We learn from the losers because it did what we didn't want, and that's where we get more information. XRP, not much to talk about this one either. We bought this one on the daily EMA breakout. Remember this day, Sir Trades a Lot was going crazy. March 21st. I'm sure you guys saw him in chat. Broke the daily EMA, came back, retested it several days, 3-4 days in a row. Boom, we bought it on stream. Hallelujah. We then rated the highs. Again, this concept is so easy and so simple to learn that if you can raid relevant highs that had some type of structural importance, normally you'll get an immediate shift in structure after that, right? As you can see, broke daily EMA, came up to the highs, looking to break this, looking to break the strong high, right? Here are the previous strong lows that made the new highs. This high is what produced the lows, right? All right, 1 second. Let me pause stream real quick. Gotta go get the door. All right, I'm back. Anyways, XRP trade. Simple to go over. We kind of just waited for the daily EMA break, bought it, held it, got the liquid, pulled our trim, and there you go. Next up off this, we had XRP. We had to put Dust twice. Litecoin, important one to talk about. It's a very important one to talk about because we did this analysis completely on stream with you guys. Here it is. Thank you to whoever brought this up. We were looking for other majors during that period. As I said to you guys, with Bitcoin dominance breaking new highs, we had to focus more on some of the top 25 majors, specifically some of the Dino coins, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Maker, Aave, and Litecoin comes into that conversation as well. So when we took a look at Litecoin, we saw this. What did we see? We saw the highs rate. I mean, this is common scenario that I've been talking about. Lows rate, highs rate. Something of importance is going to happen from there. And if we go to the chart, as you can see what happened here, this is where highs got rated, right here. Highs raid, now what? We don't want to buy into the raid, right? Because that's the fake out, right? That's where they induce you into buying, and then you become the liquidity from there. So we see the raid, we don't actually take action there. We find where we're going to get entry. And we talked about this. We had the 4-hour, a beautiful 4-hour fair value gap here, also sitting on this small bit of supply, right? Supply turned into new support, into the fair value gap, into the 4-hour EMA. And as you can see, a beautiful trade once again. I mean, it really couldn't have been better than that. Currently sitting up 10%. Anyways, those are the winners. Moving on. USDT dominance. We haven't, I mean, I guess every stream we do talk about this for a few seconds, but not much has changed. So I don't have much to give you guys here because, as you can see, nothing has changed. It has been at 6% for 3 months. Lows haven't been broken. It's starting to respect the daily EMA again. Not much change, which isn't bad. Stagnation here is not the worst. We would like to see it lower because it would just mean an overall bull market in equities. Okay, that's dominance. What now? And now the big part, right? What is the goal now, right? What are you anticipating now, right? You gave us all this information. You told us about dominance. You told us about all your winning trades. You told us about your losing trades. You told us that you might buy XMR. But what now? Like, what's the bigger picture? The bigger picture is still exactly what I said last stream, and this is where we're going to focus on the importance of where we think BTC is going to go. And it's still the exact same place. It's the exact same idea too. I want a raid of these highs here. And the raid, you know, coincidentally, on this daily time frame does mark up pretty well with this daily fair value gap. So I mean, I've drawn it out here on the chart. 33.2k. Let's tag, let's retrace. I'm back in shorts. So yes, we've been long for the last half a month. I would say maybe 2 months even. We've been long for about 2 months, 3 months now. Time to get back in shorts. I mean, we took the short initiative earlier in this range, 28k, and we took shorts to the literal range lows. So perfect trade down here, and we're going to go for it again. I mean, I don't think we have any reason to do it now. I think we wait raid plus bearish. I mean, some of you have a problem looking at these charts in a bearish manner. So I'm just going to flip the charts for you. Raid lows, you know, hit the gap and then mark back up. But in reality, it's just an inverted scale. So that's the true goal. That's what, you know, that is what now is we're still looking for quite a bit of markup. We're not done. I mean, we're still looking at over, you know, 9%, a 9 to 10% here on BTC markup into where we want to go short, and then enter the shorts. And during this period too, we should pay attention. You don't need to pay attention pretty much at all to USDT tether dominance. Let's focus primarily right now on Bitcoin dominance, because this is going to tell us if Bitcoin does end up marking up 10, 11%, I can guarantee you that we are going to mark back up into this 48, 49% zone. I can guarantee it. So that's what's now. This is the big trade, right? This is the big trade here. Wait for the raid, wait for the bearish fair value. Blase, blase. And we kick it. We kick it from there. Okay, now we'll take questions. I don't know how long the stream's been, but we're at 18 minutes. Okay, you guys have 2 minutes of asking your questions, and I'm going to get off. Someone said SOL and one. So if you want, just go to crypto chat if you're in the Discord. We can do coins, or you can ask me about market sentiment. Literally, you can ask me about anything right now. I want to give 2 minutes of allowance here. You can ask me about the previous trades. Someone said SOL and USDT. So we'll do Solana now because this is an important trade. I talked about this a long time ago. I probably talked about this in early Jan, maybe in February is when I talked to you. Obvious. There's not much I have to say because I already had it marked up on my charts here, but take a look. Take a look. I mean, pretty obvious event that we have going down here. We have a fair value gap that was produced in November when we had like the extreme market. You guys remember November, what happened? FTX collapsed. FTX collapsed. Well, Solana is a part of the ecosystem. It's a part of the SBF coins that were backed. So there you go. That's exactly what created this extreme sell side washout. And now we're sitting in that exact range where that sell side washout was. Now, what's to happen next? Very similar, if not identical to what happened with Chainlink, is I suspect that, yeah, maybe this does have different macro, economic background because it is tied, unfortunately, to a pretty major black swan event in the industry. But from the technical side, if we just want to forget about fundamentals, I do think this has a breakout coming very soon. And if you want to play it like XRP, play like XRP. wait for the break of the daily, retest, take your entry, because at that point you would get most likely a 10 to 15% day, right? 10 to 50% day on Solana, and then you get the markdown the exact next day, and then you could buy there if you want to play it safe. If you don't want to play it safe, right, and you're feeling a little frisky, we can easily find entry off, you know, again, rated lows. We can find entry off the rated lows into either order block or fair value gap. This one's already been used. This is a beautiful one, small but worked out. Right, raid lows. How about we raid lows into 4-hour test and take entry? I don't know how much of a discount you'll get. Maybe 10%. 9-10% fall on Solana. Buy. Wait for the high scale raid on daily EMA. There you go. This is an easy one because it has that high time frame compression and potentially that breakout. Where would your target be, right? That's the next question. If you know where to take entry, right? If you know where to take entry, what's the next step? Well, if you know where to take entry, where are you selling? Fairly obvious as well. Let's just take the equal highs, especially the equal highs that were producing that extreme sell wash on the Black Swan event. Now, this is a massive move. Don't get too excited by it. It's over 50%, but this is what looks the most probable. Okay, that's SOL. I'm going to mark that because I'm going to send that TA. Some of you can't watch the stream all the time, so I'm going to send the TA into the Discord. Harmony 1, same exact scenario that we have here. Right, previous lows. Unfortunately, it's too far away from us. This actually doesn't even matter anymore. It's too far away from us even to use as our analysis now. Exact same thing with 1, not as clean. Definitely Harmony 1 is not as clean as we saw on Solana, but exact same thing. The daily EMAs are used as launchpads. As cliche as it could sound, it's proven itself year after year after year after year of me teaching this. The day it doesn't, then maybe you guys can say something about it, but until then, the launchpads continue. Harmony 1 specifically, the way that I would want to play this is probably the same way I play with Dusk, because it looks like we're going to get this daily engulfing. We have about 3 hours until closure here. Get the daily engulfing, bullish engulfing. And then it's most likely going to target these highs here. Right. Took its small breakout. Target the highs. So it would be enter. It would be right now you'd enter 50% margin, like exactly like I said with Dusk. You'd enter 50% of your margin immediately. And you would wait for some type of secondary retest to fill in the rest of your position. And more specifically, I think it would have to be here. At daily time frame, again, please stop overcomplicating it. Supply, flip, you're below the daily EMA compression. This is exactly what happened with XRP. This is exactly what happened with XRP. And then you would get your daily markup from this level. Okay, so I spent a lot of time on those 2 coins. I'm going to look through the chat. If there's a coin in here I see mentioned more than once by 2 different people, we'll do that one. I see CFX, I see Algo, I see Ape. We talked about XRP, AVAX. Someone just has to mention the same coin twice and we'll do it. Algo? All right. Well, that's 2 people that said Algo. So we'll do Algo. And Algo's a fun one too, because I also haven't looked at it in a while, so we'll all be looking at it with fresh eyes. So Algo, some things you guys might not know, but it does have an NFT market coming. Who knows when? I've heard that for honestly quite some time that it will be coming. The weekly chart doesn't look promising, to be honest with you guys. And I think specifically for one reason was this low being rated and it taking 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 days. 5 days for any reaction plus the low raids with a 30% markdown. Low raid for 30% markdown. Like this is the most important low in the entire chart. This one right here, the most important low in the entire chart. Raids and nothing happened. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Algo, but it seems like no one fucking believes in it. Also, it is very drawn down from the daily EMA. Is this the right chart? Are there better charts? I'm using Binance. Yeah, this shit looks awful. Again, you know, all coins had their days, like their rally days just happened with altcoins over the past 5 days, and this is still over 30%, no 20% drawn down from the daily EMA. Hits the rate on the most important low on the chart, and it takes you a week to mark up, and you mark down 30% after the raid. I'll tell you what the plan would be here, though. The plan's easy. Maybe the chart looks like shit, but the plan's easy, right? This is exactly what happened. This is what happened to EOS when I stopped out the trade for us. What do I want? I want you to take a low here. I want you to take a low here. Which one specifically? Although this is optimal, and this is probably the most important one in this micro time frame. Why is this the most important one? This high actually didn't break. This would be the most important one if this high broke here. So this high currently higher than this one. So this is a weak low. So this actually isn't even that. This low here, if it would have broken that high, would be the most important one. And if we rated that, we'd want to take entry off raid. Unfortunately, it didn't. So we'd have to go to where the nearest liquidity would be. It would be right here. So you don't get as much as a discount, but if you can get somewhere under these and mark back up, that's where I want to take it. The only unfortunate risk is this low here doesn't provide that much support, so putting a stop here doesn't even help. And currently with where alts are at, you're looking at what, 7% drawdown. Unfortunately, after this low is taken, you then have slight fair value gap. Most of it's already been used, but you have the bottom side of this fair value gap, and then you have an order block below it. But that's what I want to do. I would want to take entry off a rate of this zone, right? Potentially this low here, and then you can take your entry, and then from there it's free falling. I mean, it's, you know, you're sky railing from it. You kind of have to hold the trade for a very long time because there's so much room above you. So maybe someone can update me on what's happening with algo, but I haven't really seen a chart look this bad in quite some time. Yeah, this is, you know, this actually might be the worst chart that I've seen in the past few weeks. This looks really bad. Someone said, didn't algo just have bad news from the SEC? Algo lost some case in Asia? Oh, that makes sense. It makes sense. This chart is disgusting. Definitely not the first one I would want to buy. But to be fair, the only good thing that it has going for it is the idea that it has a lot of upside. And as you guys know, the further away from that daily EMA, the more upside you have. It's 25% upside. I would choose SOL. I would choose SOL over algo, and SOL's sitting on top of the daily EMA right now. What's this? Gensler calls Algorand securities by praising it. Oh, fuck. When was this? Oh, this happened today? Even worse. Anyways, there's algo. I don't want to do any more coins, but that's the rest. As always, you can comment the coins to me in chat, and I'll get back to them. I don't really want to go over shit coins. But that's everything, boys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We will post the live stream up right now. Thank you guys for making it. And I'm going to start posting like a snippet of like everything we went over. So because I know most of you can't watch it. So for those that can't watch it, I'll put like a summary of like what did I talk about. So you guys can just look over that instead of just watching a 20-minute video. All right, boys. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.